Batman. Hey, everybody. This is going to be a good one. I don't know if you guys remember, but way back in 1988, there was this little short run called Death in the Family. Well, today we are talking about what if Robin lived, here today on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
Who talks first? You talk first? I talk first. I'll talk first.
I can't get the tab. I can't get nothing to switch.
That is okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Two Geeks and a Microphone, where we are real, open, and transparent and just having a good time. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, the most beardiest dude we've got here on the show, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks in geekdom land. So I don't know what's going on. My background, all I see on the background is whatever you put up earlier when we were setting everything up. I didn't see our intro. I didn't see our countdown. I didn't see nothing. So, I may try to go out of the studio and come back in and see if I can fix things, because it all seems to be frozen up for me.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. Well, everybody, I'm pretty excited about today because today, here, I'm going to switch this around so it's just, we'll remove Mr. Mike for a moment. Nah, we'll just see how long it takes him to get back in here. Well, I'm excited about today because some of you may know about Death in the Family. If you're a Batman fan, you know that story. And it's this whole story about, did Robin live or die? And with the Joker. And this is Jason Todd Batman.
Hey, there we go.
Oh, there he goes. And so with Jason Todd, this is the Jason Todd Robin.
Hold on.
Hello there. So who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
There it goes.
I forgot to set up the Rumble stream, so we're not live on Rumble right now. I'll have to post this after we're done to Rumble.
Yeah, no worries. So that was the one where everybody voted in if Robin was going to live or going to die. And so we're going to, there's a lot of people know, a lot of us fans, Robin died, and it got voted on. So all of us are sick people could want to kill somebody off. I'm just kidding.
Pick me.
Oh gosh.
I voted for him to die.
Well, in the last, within this last year, last few months, the DC has released the other side of the story. What if Robin lived? And so we're going to talk about that today on the show. And we've read them and we have saved it for the podcast. So this is going to be an interesting show, everybody. Mike, are we ready to do some news, some geeky news?
I don't have any geeky news, but I got Geekdar, so we could do that.
Oh, well, let's just head right on to Geekdar, shall we?
Go with the radar, sir. What's wrong with it? I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps. The what? The what? And the what? You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
So, speaking of that clip, this past week I watched a little bit of Bobcat Goldthwait on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's still alive. And he starts off his bit with that. Yeah, I'm still alive. I know a lot of you thought I was dead. He goes, that's usually the first thought. The second thought is, hey, this isn't the black guy from Police Academy. I want the guy that does all the funny sound. and he doesn't do any of his. He stopped doing that. He does it in the beginning, and he goes, "Yeah, I thought I'd come out here and do this for 45 minutes, but I figured it would be painful for all of us, so I don't do it anymore." Bobcat's
my goodness.
He's pretty funny, so I thought that was cool. Since there he is, and he goes, "Yeah, you're right. I don't look the same. Neither do you." He's quite blue, but he's very funny. I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's great.
This is a good bit. But I love that. Hey, wait a minute. This isn't the black guy from Police Academy. And then he tries to do a little bit of Michael's bit, and he goes, "That's all I know. That's all I've seen of his act."
That's awesome.
And of course, he can't do the sounds like Michael Winslow. So.
Right.
Michael Winslow is amazing. Right. So I got a couple things for Geekdar. Who wants to go first, you or me?
So what, you do one, then I do one, and then you go back to yours if you have a couple of things.
All right. So first one, I will just say because we are doing Invincible season 2 next week with our guest Tom Hutchinson, which I'm really excited. He's coming back to join us. He was a lot of fun. But in preparation, I read book 2 of Invincible, of the trades that I've got. So
nice.
I had bought book 1 and 2 before Christmas, and then Megan and Brenda both got me 3, 4, and 5 for Christmas. So I have all the trades up to date right now, and I just finished book 2. The books are really good. If you like the TV series, I would highly recommend the books if you haven't read them already. And the stories, they basically condense the story for the TV series. So they're the same. It's just they cut some things out, So
okay.
So that way you're not doing Steven skips through it.
Trust me, I already do.
You do Steven skips on Invincible? Oh my gosh.
I did. Yeah.
On Invincible.
Yeah. Well, it just depended if it's like, oh, this is just human interaction, woe is me, or drama. So I'm going to skip that. Give me the action. I want action. Fights, monsters, creatures, aliens, superpowers. That's what I want.
There's a whole lot of that. Wait till you see episode 1 of season 2.
Right. So everybody, we were talking before the show because we've got it coming up, and I haven't started watching them season 2 yet because season 3 is coming out soon. So we're kind of doing it as a pre thing for season 3. And yeah, Mike was telling me this morning, he goes, wait till you get the first episode. And I said, well, it was like the first episode of the first season, because that was a big shocker at the end of the first episode too. And you said it's bigger than that one even. I'm like, oh my goodness. That was huge. If those of you who've seen season 1, if you have not, we're not going to spoil it.
Well, like I said, all 3 of us, Brenda was watching it too. Brenda kind of watches at it. She's not really all that interested in it, but she watches at it with us. And she was watching that episode with us the other night. And all 3 of us are like, what? No! It's a true WTF, what the freak moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick, Zig's in the house.
Hey,
from Nerdery and Murdery. If you have not checked out our crossover that happened last week, or released them all last week, it was a fabulous time. With Nerdery and Murdery and with 3 Geeky Dads. We all covered part of the V series, mini series, the updated series, and Zig and Jeff fell on the sword for us to do the attempt of a remake. They were required to watch that one.
I saw this week Big Finish Audio, which I'm a big fan of. They do Doctor Who. They've been continuing the Doctor Who story. Hell, they were keeping Doctor Who alive while it was dead. But they have the most amazing audio books, and these aren't just books; they are audio dramas. I mean, you listen to this and you feel like you're watching.
So is it really a book, or is it like a radio drama?
It's a radio drama.
Okay.
It is a radio drama. Anyway, or it's several radio dramas, and I have several Tom Baker episodes because Tom, who is 91, is still playing the Doctor.
That's awesome. Holy cow.
Anyway,
so what's it called again? Big audio drama?
No, Big Finish Audio. Big Finish Audio. And they just announced that apparently they've obtained the rights to V, and they are doing the V UK story. So that might be interesting to see.
Okay.
Now, a warning, they're expensive. Yeah, there we go. There's Tom Baker. Yeah, it was recently his birthday. That's awesome.
Wow.
Yep. It was a big deal when they got him because they were trying to get him since they started. There it is, V.
Okay. Oh, so so it is, but you're getting audio books.
Yeah. It's a full audio drama. It has sound effects. It has music. It is like watching listening to a TV show or a movie, either one. They're amazing. They're some of the best I've ever heard.
The doctors, the companions, the villains, the world of Doctor Who. So is it just all mostly Doctor Who stuff then?
They started out primarily Doctor Who, but they've merged, or they've went off into other areas too. But their big draw is Doctor Who. That is their big draw. I have a Wizard of Oz audio drama that they did that was really good. And then I have The Martian Chronicles, which was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Martian Chronicles was fantastic. Loved it.
Here, let's see if it pops it up. Doctor Who,
There it is.
Doctor Who, Martian Chronicles.
Yep. That one is really, really good.
Derek Jacobi and Haley Atwell.
They've
available December 2015.
They've even got their own Star Trek too, like some unreleased Star Trek stuff.
Wow.
They got all kinds. They're working on getting different, whole different kinds of licensing and stuff.
Oh, they don't have the Martian Chronicles anymore. It's not available right now.
I have it. I have it digitally.
Nice.
I have it digitally anyway, so it is in my player. And Paul McGann, he's another one of my favorite doctors. I really like Paul.
Yeah. Awesome. That's cool. Okay. Sorry. I got everybody. Did you see my ADD kick in where I just went, moth flame. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. Sorry.
All right. So you're Geekdar.
So my Geekdar is real quick. I want to do a, real quick. Oh, see, I lost my, I overloaded my resources. Can you hear me, Mike?
Oh, yeah, I hear you. You kind of blinked out for a second, but I hear you now.
Yeah. Yeah. And my other blink did not come back. So I'm going to see if I do this and if I can come back. Oh man. Stop sharing. And I overloaded. We tested this, but I guess when you go live, it doesn't quite work. I'll see now.
Sorry,
Steven's
folks, we are having technical difficulties.
We are today. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, while Steven's out, I think I'll go into my next part of my Geekdar. So my next part of the Geekdar is on the same day my book was released. This book happened to be released, Batman Resurrection, and it is by John Jackson Miller, who is a famed Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica author. We've actually had John Jackson on the show, I think back in season 1 or our first year that we when we had a bunch of different authors and such. But I finally started to sit down and read this. I'm on chapter 8 right now. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so good.
Yeah.
So this is continuing the 1989 Batman with Michael Keaton. So it's the Michael Keaton version of Batman. And it takes place in between Batman and Batman Returns. And I mean, he's got character. So you remember the scene in the 89 Batman where the Joker comes into the museum and he goes, Lawrence? And
Yes.
you got the big guy with the handlebar mustache, and he's got the gigantic boombox, and he starts playing the Joker music.
Yeah.
Lawrence is in this story. Knox is in this story, which I love Knox. Maxwell Schreck is in this story, so you got somebody from Batman Returns.
Did your brain put in the Christopher Walken voice as you were reading it?
Of course. Are you kidding? Lawrence, I didn't have a voice really for because he doesn't really talk in the movie,
right?
And he don't talk a lot in the book, not a whole lot, because he's still kind of a goonie, but he's trying to put the Joker's gang back together because he gets a message from the Joker, which is pretty freaking awesome. Because the book talks, if you read the back of the book, it says, in every deck of cards, there's always 2 Jokers. So it's implicating that the Joker didn't die. Now, there's a character that's introduced, and now I don't think I want to say who it is, because I think introducing that character tells us how the Joker, quote unquote, lives, which I don't believe he lives, but yeah, I believe he comes back through another character that's introduced who was not in the movies, who's not been in any Batman movie yet, and I would love to see him portrayed in a Batman movie.
Oh.
I'll leave that as a little teaser. Maybe I can convince Steven to get the audiobook, and maybe we'll do an episode on Batman the Resurrection.
Oh.
Well, that's my other geekdar. It was
on.
It is awesome so far. 8 chapters in, I'm loving it.
Nice. Real quick, let's do shout outs. Zig said, this was probably when we were on the Big Finish Audio. They do Blake's 7 as well.
They do. They do Blake 7 too.
Nice.
I'm not a big fan of Blake 7, but yes, that's probably why I didn't mention it.
And then Nobody for Anybody's in the house.
Hey, Nobody for Anybody. I don't have any Rippaverse news today, but I'm sure we're going to get some coming up soon.
There's some coming up soon. That's correct.
I know they got a ton of stuff coming out. Oh my gosh.
Yep. And
I may have to take out a second job just to afford Rippaverse this year.
Right. I was thinking the same thing. They're just dropping all kinds of stuff. I'm going to have to get choosy now.
I know. Now it's like he's trying to catch up with Marvel and DC. Dude, slow down. Just slow down. Okay.
Yeah. There's, he goes, yep. Sorry, everybody. I want to take you to the Netflix page because my wife and I watched Back in Action, and which is Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx. And who else is in there? Anyway, it's a spy movie. You guys know I love spy movies. And so it realistically, it's a story where it takes a shot back 15 years earlier where the two of them are on a mission together, and it kind of goes south to a certain degree. And so then they had the opportunity to kind of get out of the business because they fell in love with each other, kind of a thing. And then it's 15 years later where they have kids, and the kids think they're, whatever kind of parents, oh gosh, they're so lame, kind of a thing. And then they find out that through an incident with the kids, then all of a sudden their image gets put on the web, and then the bad guys find them, kind of a thing. And so then they have to all, go back in action and all to save their family, kind of a thing. And it's actually a fun movie. Is it a top tier movie? No. Is it worth watching on Netflix? Yeah. And
it sounds like another movie that you turned me on to last year. Oh gosh. I can't think of his name. I can't think of the actor's name.
What was it about? Which one? What was the?
He was a spy, and then he gets married, has a family, and they find out about him and find out about his family, and they come after him, and he has to reveal to the family that he's actually this top tier killer, and all this stuff. And and they freak out, and then they kidnap the family. He saves them, so on and so forth. You turned me on to it. It was one of your Geek Dars sometime last year.
Yeah, it was Nobody, the one where he was
Nobody. Okay,
the guy who was in what's the actor's name? But he was in Better Call Saul. He was Saul in Breaking Bad.
No. This
This is a different one.
Yeah, it's different. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll move on.
All right.
So I have one last thing for the Geek Tar.
Okay. Sure.
We are not sponsored by them, by the way. I'll just say that. But
not yet.
But
I'm
I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, not yet. I do subscribe to Squatch soap, which I do like their soap a lot, and I have.
Yeah, I love them too.
Steven turned me on to them, but he talked me into getting the Star Wars box set, which was amazing.
Yes, the first one. They had a second one. I was like, I go with the first one.
Yeah, I didn't get the second one. I got the first one, but anyway, so I got my latest Squatch this past week, and I got an extra bar because I had enough points that I could get an extra bar.
Nice.
But so one of my bars this week.
It's the Batman with the clown prince rents.
Yeah, it's the Joker.
Nice.
I figured that'd be pretty appropriate for today's episode too. So.
Yes. Yeah. Nobody for anybody's like, love that soap. Oh nice. Yeah. Zig, thank you. It's Bob Odenkirk who played Saul. And he played in the movie Nobody. Yep. Which is a good one.
And this is wild plum oil, and it's 0 grit. So.
Yeah, I do enjoy Squatch.
I do too. I like them. I like them a lot.
I will say, if you do the point system, I got kind of frustrated with Squatch because I had a whole bunch of points. I did not realize they expire. I was building them up.
Yeah, I think they
I lost them.
I think they expire at the end of the year, don't they?
I don't know. No. I just know all of a sudden I had a whole bunch of points, and then they were all gone. And so I was so frustrated about it. I've been buying Squatch at my local Ace Hardware.
Yeah, they're now for sale, and I've been seeing them.
You can get them at Walmart too.
Walmart and Target. The funny thing is, Walmart has just the generic brands. I mean the generic scents.
The ongoing scents, but they don't have any of the limited ones, right?
Target's getting all the Marvel stuff because Target has the new Iron Man, Hulk, who all was it, Megan? Iron Man, Hulk,
Cap.
Yeah, Captain America, and I don't remember who the fourth one.
Spider-Man.
Was it I don't think it was Spider-Man. Because I've gotten the Spider-Man, so I love the Spider-Man soap, by the way.
I have not had the Spider-Man soap.
Yeah, that one's good.
My favorite is the Wood Barrel Bourbon. That one's my favorite.
I like that one too. Right now I'm using Pine Tar. Pine Tar is good too.
Warning everybody, if you use the Pine Tar soap, you're going to have, once that bar is done, you're going to have to be cleaning your bathtub because it gets the black residue everywhere.
Yeah, don't go pitch a game of baseball either with
it. Oh, goodness.
One of Detroit's pitchers got in trouble for that, I believe, during the 2006 World Series, was it when they faced the St. Louis Cardinals?
Yep. Here, nobody. Pine Tar is messy. Yes, it is. It's a great smell though. It's really
it is. And funny thing is, I'm using the anniversary Pine Tar from last year. I got a little stockpile.
That's what happens. It's great.
Right. So I was like, I need to use this one. I haven't used it yet.
Well, see,
I really like the smell of that.
That's what happened to me. I had this whole stockpile to use. And so then I didn't order anything and stuff like that. And sure enough, I lost all my credits. Oh, real quick. Sam's in the house.
Hey, Sam.
Hello, Sam. Welcome. All right. Well, we're ready to get into the main event.
I think so.
Let's do this. It's time for the main event. Ta-da! There's weirdness going on, everybody, today. So
No, it didn't start right, and I don't know what's going on. Anyway,
that's right.
So here let's do you can switch screens, right, Steven? Go to
I sure can. You ready?
Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're going to be talking about the continuation or the alternate ending to A Death in the Family, which was a series that was done in 1988, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And that was the Jason Todd version of Robin. Jason Todd,
Which Mike did not like. I remember way back then.
I absolutely hated Jason.
I got to say this story real quick. Mike and I were taking a class together when all this happened. I remember this. We were doing a graphic arts class, and it was the only time we ever had class together because I was like, it's I guess it was our junior year.
Yep.
And it was like we were friends and we were like, well, let's just do this class together. And Mike had another friend that was in the class too.
Yep.
And so we were doing all kinds of fun, cool graphic art stuff. But I remember specifically us talking about this comic series because you were like, I really hate Jason Todd.
Well, the cool thing is that was a printing class too, because we would create these projects and we create notepads and stuff. And we actually got to use a printing press and print up our notepads and everything.
Yeah, we learned about dark rooms.
Yeah,
it was really interesting.
Take negatives and then take the negatives and make the print plate for the printing press. We actually had to put it on the printing press and run the printing press, so on and so forth. And then we had to bind the notepads together and stuff. It was a great class. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
probably my favorite class in high school. Most everything else I hated. So, but we would do a lot of comic book stuff
discussions. Yeah,
yeah. And, we would do a lot of comic book projects too, and I still remember. So we had 2 semesters, or it was the first quarter where. At least Tony and I, we pretty much didn't do anything almost the entire quarter, and the teacher's like, "You need to get moving. You guys are running to the end of the quarter." So then we stayed after school one day and just ran 20 projects, and then pulled off an A in the class. And then the second half of the quarter rolls around, and he comes around and he goes, "Hey, you guys need to get to work on your projects." "Oh, we will." And we did the same thing and got an A.
Yeah, I didn't. I was good. I worked all through the whole. I kept pretty up to speed.
We goofed off. It was fun. Hey, we got A's. What difference does it make?
That's true.
We did our work. We just did it the very last minute.
Right. All right. I'm sorry. I digress, everybody. Sorry, but this is where we were talking about. So that's why I know it was 88. And I remember you talking about this, but it wasn't Robin Lives. It was wah, wah. Right. So everybody voted. I didn't vote, but everybody voted if he lived or died. Do you know what the percentage of that was, of that vote? Have they ever said what it was?
It was very close. It was very close. I mean, I think it was within something like 1,000 votes or something like that. Yeah, it was almost split down the middle. It was crazy. But anyway, yeah, the story was called A Death in the Family. Fantastic story too. I would highly recommend it if you've never read it. And yes, I hated Jason Todd. So at the back of the book, there was a 900 number, and you called one number if you wanted Jason to live, and you called the other number if you wanted him to die.
It cost you 50 cents.
Something like that. And I voted for him to die. I'll tell you that right now, because I hated Jason Todd. I was not a fan of his. But so that's the cover. That was the cover of, basically the cover of the original one, but they alternated it.
I remember liking the animated.
Yeah, I'll get into that, Sam. Actually, I wanted to revisit that this week, and I didn't get to.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it was my first DC animated movie that I bought way back.
Oh,
and I bought it on PlayStation through the PlayStation store.
Man, I would almost say that's one of it could be the top DC animated movie of all time.
Oh, everybody, did you guys hear that? Those are fighting words, because now we're going to talk about the best. I'm going to write that down. We're going to do an episode on the top animated DC movies.
Okay. So anyway, this is the alternate ending to A Death in the Family. And the cover is almost the same as the original, except they put Robin lives instead of Robin dies.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a shocking panel at the end, it was shocking in 1988. I'm going to go right to it. So this is when Batman carries Robin out of the rubble. In the original print, that said he's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
And he wasn't smiling.
I can tell you who was, though. I was. But I mean, that was a pretty shocking panel in 1988.
Yeah, back then.
Batman carrying out a dead Robin. It was pretty freaking amazing. So the new print of this is all the same until you get to that panel, and then that panel's different. Now, the interesting thing is, in 1988, they actually did this. They had two endings, and they had them ready to go in case he got voted, in the case the vote turned out that he lived. So they had the story ready, but they put it in the vault. That's why this is called From the DC Vault. I kind of described it this morning on Facebook as DC's version of What If, but this is what they call the DC Vault. So they pulled this out of the vault because it is an alternative storyline. Now, that might be the difference between What If. What If is they just come up with ideas. Oh, well, what if Wolverine did this instead of that? Where this they actually could have went the other direction had they decided to. So it was ready to go, and they've sat on it for all these years.
Yeah, and I tell you what, when we get to the end of this, Mike's going to do a reveal and stuff, but that would have taken the Batman universe in a whole interesting direction.
It could have. So this was interesting because it changed this, and then from that point out, there's not much left of the comic book, but the rest of the book, the rest of the story changes, because after this panel in the original printing, you had Robin's funeral, so on and so forth. In this, you get Robin's mom's funeral. You get Jason Todd's mother's funeral, and him in the hospital recovering. So it's slightly different, and then it carries off into the new storyline, Death in the Family, Robin Lives. And this is the cover to issue number 1. So this is where we'll kind of start our discussion. So Robin obviously recovers from the traumatic incident where the Joker beats him within an inch of his life. And Batman manages to pull him out of the rubble. There's an explosion, so on and so forth. And Robin is now he's alive. He's recovered. He's back at Wayne Manor with Bruce. Bruce is trying everything he can to, I guess, rehabilitate Jason after what has happened. I think this storyline, Batman has picked his Robins a lot of times based on tragedy. So like Jason Todd tragically lost his parents. He thought he had lost his mother, but you find out in A Death in the Family that she actually lived, and unfortunately she was working for the Joker, who, by the way, was trafficking children, he was involved in a group that was trafficking children. That was very sick, disturbing. If you read that original storyline, and it turns out he also becomes an ambassador to the Ayatollah.
Yeah.
I always thought that was weird, but that gave him diplomatic immunity. So that way the Batman could kill him for what he did to Jason. That is the only reason they did that, because they took it away from him really quick in this storyline.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we don't want to go that route. Let's take this away from him. And basically the Ayatollah takes his diplomatic immunity away, which I thought was kind of funny.
I always remember that from Lethal Weapon 2. Diplomatic immunity. And
right.
At the end, and then he goes, has just been revoked. Shoots him in the head.
I mean, that kind of happens in The Death in the Family too, because Superman actually shows up and Batman's like, what's going on? And he goes, the government sent me to talk to you. Because I have some news and you're not going to like it. And basically informing him that that Joker has become an ambassador.
Yeah. Don't shoot the messenger.
Right. Yeah. He can shoot the messenger all he wants, unless it's kryptonite.
Right.
But Batman does have a kryptonite ring. So anyway, I digress. But yeah, so they did that weird storyline, and like I said, they kind of changed that really quick in issue number 1 of Robin Lives, where they take away the diplomatic immunity against the Joker, because he can't keep the diplomatic immunity, because the first panels of each one of 1, 2, 3, and 4 is the Joker getting shot in the head.
Right. But you don't know what's going on.
Right. And each time they kind of lead you to think, oh, Robin did it. And then it was, wait a minute, did Batman do it? Did somebody else do it? It was like each book, they would lead you to think it was somebody else, which I thought was cool. I really liked that. It left a nice mystery, as it went through. The whole time I figured it was Robin, but but I liked how they did that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah. Each one, it was, because even I got confused. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I thought they were leading to this. And then get to the next book. I'm like, wait a minute, and I was getting confused because, it's easy to confuse me, everybody. I was just like, what's going on?
I had to go back and forth a little bit. There was some confusing parts in it. So here's the cover of issue 2. This is I forget what gang this is. Some gang gets involved.
Yeah, they didn't. Those I felt they did this also in the third book too. Was with the Alice Mama character, and I was just like,
yeah,
they was just like thrown in. We got to get some more rogues gallery people in these books. I'm like, not really. You didn't, because it was just, they were kind of thrown in there, but I get it. They were trying to show the emotional state of Batman and Robin, kind of a thing, as things were going on.
So yeah, I should have showed a screenshot of Mama, but yeah, that Mama character, she basically searches for children who've been abused and stuff, and basically takes them in and convinces them that she loves them. And it's a strange storyline, but I kind of think it was like maybe they were trying to connect this with the original storyline where you had a ring of child molesters, child traffickers. But I think her storyline, she's a little less evil per se, because I think she actually means sort of good with them.
She collects kids who have been through trauma or something like that,
right,
and convinces them to stay. And
I
you will love me, a weird
right.
Munchausen syndrome thing.
Yeah, right. I didn't get the feeling she was like molesting them though, or anything.
No,
like that.
No. I probably a little more emotionally, psychologically abusive.
Right. Yeah. And who knows, she might be sending them out to steal things or, do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But I think you're making a good point, though. Those storylines were just kind of thrown in without any kind of, there wasn't even storylines like, hey, let's just throw this in real quick.
Yeah. It was
kind of thing. It wasn't even development or a real resolution. It was like, hey, okay, Batman beats him up. Woohoo, it's done. That's one of the things I didn't like about it.
Well, and it was kind of, I don't know. I guess this is a way to draw out the whole series. Maybe that's what it was.
Oh, you mean like what a lot of TV shows do today to make it a 10-part series and allow Steven the opportunity to go skip,
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 right.
skip. Yes. Okay. Good point.
But I don't think it was quite that bad.
No, openly it wasn't. I mean, part of it was Batman working through his own trauma of the situation with Robin.
Right.
And I caught that and I said, okay, I could, go with that, but it was still could have been much more better if it had more story development on those. Cheers.
Well, this is probably my favorite cover out of the 4-part series.
This is a good cover.
I love this cover. It's got Jason Todd and Dick Grayson as Robin and Nightwing. And then, of course, you get Batman in the background. And we also get, I think she's introduced in this issue, we get the psychiatrist that's introduced, who basically Alfred was the one that said he needs to see a psychiatrist. He Dick Grayson, or not Dick Grayson, Jason Todd really is messed up with this. It's beyond any of our help. He needs to talk to somebody from the outside.
I thought she got introduced in the first one, maybe.
Well, maybe it was the first one. I don't remember, but I think this is where her story really, really starts to take off.
Right. Cause I got confused in the narration. Like, who's the person narrating?
You're right. She is from the beginning, because I think she's narrating.
She is the one. We find out, spoiler, we find out at the end she is the one narrating the story.
Right.
That's just what happens at the throughout the whole thing, because she is talking about, because there's several things that happen with her. So you keep going. Sorry, I don't want to. You got a great flow going. Sorry.
So Jason, he reluctantly goes to see her. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to open up to anybody. He's shutting everybody out and stuff. So you're kind of seeing, you're almost seeing the development of the Red Hood here.
Yes, I didn't think about that. Yes.
Instead of taking Jason Todd a different direction, he seems to be still heading into that direction of the Red Hood. Now, if you know the storyline of the Red Hood, Jason Todd's body is stolen, out of the grave by Ra's al Ghul, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ra's al Ghul goes and digs him up and then takes him to one of the
Lazarus pits,
brings him back to life, and Jason Todd changes his identity from Robin to the Red Hood.
Yeah, I think
if you know Batman's storyline, the Red Hood connects to the Joker, because that was the original persona that the Joker had taken before he became the Joker. He was the Red Hood.
Yes.
So this was all designed to mess with Batman's head and such. But anyway, and the Red Hood storyline is fantastic. That's where I become a fan of Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Because he becomes that vigilante that I love.
Yeah. And I think the animated movie did a great job with all of that, explaining all that, walking through all of that.
That animated movie is just fantastic. I highly recommend that animated movie. But I do recommend this series. I think this would be a good series to read. If you've not read this and you haven't read or watched The Red Hood, I think this would be a good thing to read, because you'll see an alternate way that Jason could have went had he lived through the death in the family.
Still leaning into where he could have become the Red Hood.
Right. Well,
I know, but
it has quite the twist at the end that I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't
either.
Anyway, so Jason starts talking to the psychiatrist that they've introduced him to, and he opens up a little bit, but he's holding back. And of course he's holding back because he's holding back the Robin identity. He's holding back the Batman identity, because he knows I can't give those up, so on and so forth. Well, she grasps on to, you're holding something back from me. You're not telling me the whole story. And he knows he can't open up. And Bruce Wayne, Batman, knows he can't fully open up. So Batman does the unexpected and Batman shows up at the psychiatrist's office or house or whatever, and he reveals his identity to her. And he's like, okay, now you know the truth. Now you know who I am. Now Jason can open up to you. And it was pretty amazing. I really like that part of the storyline.
Yeah, real quick. Sam, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you, Sam. Just check us out later on YouTube.
Yeah. Hey, man, have a good night. God bless you as well, man. Have a good one.
Yes. So anyway, Batman reveals that way Jason Todd can open up with everything at this point. And of course, at this point, Bruce and the psychiatrist get romantically involved.
Yeah.
Imagine that. He is a playboy, okay? I mean, it makes sense. And then you think things are starting to turn. Jason is responding better. He's taking back his role as Robin. He's playing his role. He's working well besides Dick Grayson as Nightwing. He's working well with Batman. I mean, it's almost turning into the perfect Batman Bat family, you know? And so we'll go on to the fourth cover. So here's the fourth cover, which is a pretty cool cover too. All right. So everything seems to be turning well. You think that Jason Todd is going to come out of this good. And maybe everything would have been fine for Jason Todd. And we get to the very end of the series. And this is a big spoiler alert. So if you don't want to be spoiled for this series, pause this, go read the I would recommend reading the 5 issues, read the reprint of
number 4 of Death in the Family.
Right. And then read the 4-part series Robin Lives. So pause. All right. You've read it. All right. Now I'll reveal what we saw at the end of it. So at the end, Jason actually turns into the Joker. He becomes the Joker. And that you see Batman in the mirror. You see the Batman reflected in the mirror. That Batman is not Bruce Wayne, because Bruce Wayne has went off to be with the psychiatrist,
and they get married. And then you realize it really is her telling the whole story. Who's the narrator?
Right. And this is the Dick Grayson Batman. So Dick has taken over the mantle of the Bat. I thought this was pretty shocking. I did not expect Jason Todd to become the Joker at the end of this.
It was out of nowhere.
Right. And I thought it was a cool ending. I really liked it.
Yeah. It would have been interesting to see the Dick Grayson Batman, Jason Todd Joker. I was curious if they did that story.
Know. They could do a whole new line now.
Yeah.
With this version of the Batverse, which would be a complete alternative, storyline. I think it'd be kind of cool. I would, maybe if they did like a year run of that would be interesting. I'd like to see that kind of a DC, Elseworlds or something. Not so much the multiverse, but in Elseworlds, because this obviously didn't happen because Jason did die.
Yeah.
So forth.
It was interesting because the panel before this with the psychiatrist, with her talking, was, we thought everything was, great. Everything, we had this new life and everything seemed to be on the up. Everyone's healing and all this. And then right there at the bottom near the end, bottom corner there, it says, "We were wrong." And it was a shock. You're like, he is not doing what I think he's doing. And then all of a sudden you get this panel and you're like, oh, man.
So he became something worse than the Red Hood.
He did.
And think about it. No Lazarus Pit either. Because the Lazarus pit makes you go insane, And so we didn't even have a Lazarus Pit. This was just him trying to work through his issues. And he still turns into the Joker.
Wouldn't that be interesting if he found a Lazarus Pit to even heighten his his jokerness, just to dive in and then come back out on his own, kind of a thing.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can imagine it. So this is not where I thought the story would go. I did not.
Agreed.
And two things that ran through my mind. So when you were just talking about the fact that Bruce kind of got his happy ending, he falls in love, he gets married, he goes off with the psychiatrist, so on and so forth. I got that feeling from the Dark Knight trilogy. When Alfred is telling Batman, my dream for you is that one day you'll forget all of this and go away, and I'll see you in a cafe with your love. And we kind of get a glimpse of that at the end of the Dark Knight series. That's what I kind of got the feeling of when I read that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's like that coming true in the comic books. I kind of like that. The other feeling I got from this with the reveal of the Joker, it took me back to Batman Beyond, the Return of the Joker.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because not Jason, but I think Dick. Was it Dick? Or maybe it was Jason. Who one of the Robins basically turns into the Joker in that. And so that was a twist. That was a pretty shocking twist too. So
boy, I'm trying to remember that. I love Batman Beyond.
Oh, Batman Beyond was a great series. Fantastic. Man, Megan and I used to watch Batman Beyond every week, didn't we?
Yeah.
Batman Beyond and Teen Titans, those were our favorites. We loved them.
And it was Mark Hamill did the voice.
Yep, Mark Hamill did the Joker.
No, it was Tim Drake.
It was Tim Drake. Oh, okay. It was Tim's Robin. But still, it was one of the Robins who basically turned into the Joker. And I was like, holy crap, this kind of mirrors that.
Well, the other thing is, because it was a big surprise and it was someone in the Bat family to a certain degree, it took me back to the Flash. What's it called? It's one of your favorite Flash. And we watched the movie, we talked about it, but it was the big surprise at the end of who becomes the Joker, or who was the Joker. They were talking about the Joker and who it was, but it was Martha.
It's Flashpoint.
Flashpoint.
Yeah. Flashpoint is one of the greatest Flash stories ever told.
Yeah. And I did not see that coming. I think you enjoyed that. I got surprised by that. Oh gosh, that's where it took me. It was that kind of a surprise.
Thomas Wayne becomes Batman in that alternate world.
Yes.
And yeah, Martha becomes the Joker, which I thought was a fantastic twist.
Yeah.
See, sometimes Batman writing is just on par and right there. And I really like this series. I thought this was a good series. I mean, there were some, like we said, there were some points in the series that was like, we probably could have
skipped it.
But overall, I really enjoy this series. I think it's really good. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and we'll use Robin's scale since this is pretty much all Robin centric. I would give this a 7.5 Robins.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a very worthwhile story.
Yeah, agreed.
A lot of fun to delve into what could have been.
Yeah.
Had it went the other way.
Yeah, I concur. I actually was going to give it an 8.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
It was a good solid 8. Was it worth reading? Absolutely, it was.
Definitely,
it was worth reading. And I think you're right. It's you guys know I don't like multiverse stuff, but I do like
See, this is not multiverse. This is more of an Elseworlds.
Elseworlds, and I like the Elseworlds things. Like, ooh, if if it did turn out differently, what would that look like? Kind of a thing. And I quite enjoyed that because it's going to have a beginning and an end. But I will say the ending in this made me wonder, and that's a good thing. what would happen next? What does that, the new Batman, new Joker dichotomy
I
look
would
like?
like to
Dick
see
Grayson versus, Jason
yeah,
Todd.
I think I'd like to see a limited run of that version, that Dick Grayson version of Batman. I kind of want to see his Batcave and all his Bat gadgets and stuff, because they're going to be slightly different than we have right now, which should be cool. So I want to see all those. I want to see what the Jason Todd Joker is like. Maybe do a 12-issue series on it. I think that would be a fun run. They should do that. DC should do that. DC, if you're listening, you can have that idea. I'll give it.
Right. Oh my goodness. So yeah,
it was Guns listening to us right now.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I will say this,
because if he is, I got other things to say to him, but
right.
I'll hold that.
Yeah. I'm how shall I say this? I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the new DC universe, I guess, with under that. And I did like this story because it was an Elseworld story. Mm-hmm. It was, and it was we were given that choice how many years ago? I mean, 30 years ago, kind of a thing. And so more than that, 30, 35 years.
35, yeah.
And so we were given that choice, and it always made you wonder, what if? And we got that. We finally got that. Okay, this is what they had planned, kind of a thing. Maybe some of it they had sketched out. No, they would have had a full run, I would assume. Did it come out monthly?
Yeah.
It was monthly rather than weekly. So I would say monthly, and they probably still had time to do what they needed to do to flesh it out, but that's probably what was on the grid. But boy, that ending popped out of nowhere.
So were you shocked at the ending?
I was.
Yeah, me too.
I was.
I was not expecting. I actually was expecting him to put the Red Hood back on. That's what I was like.
Yeah.
They're going to make it where no matter what, he would turn into.
He would become Red Hood. I was thinking the same thing. Because I was like, no matter what had happened, he still would have become the Red Hood as what we know today. And then that whole crazy arc in and of itself as well. So yeah,
I actually like this better than that idea. I think this is a better idea. So DC, I think you got it right on this one. Finally. Now I gotta say, DC does some good storylines still here and there. I'm currently reading Batman and Robin. Actually, I just finished reading Batman and Robin Year One, which is going back to Dick Grayson years, and it's all about his beginning. I like that run. It's a 4-part series. I recommend that one too. And then I'm reading the current Batman and Robin, which is the current Bruce Wayne and the current Damian Wayne. And I gotta say, Damian's winning me over now.
Growing on you, huh? I love it.
Hated Damian.
Boy, did you hate Damian.
Oh,
I always liked Damian. I thought I enjoyed the concept, and it made sense. It wasn't just thrown out of there. That with Talia al Ghul, and yeah.
Oh, I like the concept of Damian Wayne. I like where he came from and such, and the fact that he's the grandson of Ra's al Ghul. I do like that. He was just a little. Just the same reason I didn't like Jason Todd. Only Damian was like taking it grades higher. It was like, oh God, I thought I hated Jason Todd, but I don't know. Damian has really grown on me. The stories have in Batman and Robin. They're building on the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne. Not so much Batman and Robin, but Bruce and Damian. And I like that. They're starting to become father and son, and they're starting to embrace it. And then I think it's helping their Batman and Robin side too. I think it's helping them to be better partners, working together better as their relationship on the father and side son comes together. So
Mhm.
I think they've done a really good job with that. I like that. And then the other thing I'm reading is World's Finest. Batman and Robin, or Batman and Superman World's Finest. I'm liking this series too. It's been really good. I've been collecting it for I think 2 years now. And I gotta say, the writing in these are really good. And it's taking Batman and Superman in adventures outside of Gotham and Metropolis.
Nice.
You don't get the usual Batman stays in Gotham and the usual Superman stays in Metropolis. This takes them to different planets and different places on Earth and just total different storylines. They had a really fun storyline with Mxyzptlk that I enjoyed this past summer. It was really good. Someone was killing all the imps in his universe, and he and Batmite needed help from Batman and Superman, which was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Because you saw all the imps from all the, there's an imp for Green Lantern, there's an imp for Wonder Woman, there's an imp for every one of them. And
interesting.
And you got to see them get murdered. Yeah. It was quite gruesome for a Batmite Mxyzptlk story, actually, but it was really good. I thought that was a pretty fantastic series. So
right on.
Those some recommendations of DC today that I am currently enjoying. So
all right, nice. Well, we are at the hour mark.
So it turned out to be a geekdar.
I think it did, by golly, and that's okay. And gosh darn it, we like it.
Yes, we do. All right.
So, all right. Hey, everybody. Oh, real quick. Nobody for anybody, real quick. Hasn't bought DC in years. Well, I understand that. Yep.
I understand it. Look, I'm very picky about my storylines. Like I said, these Batman and Robins that's going right now, I really enjoy them. I think they're worth looking at if you're Batman and Robin. And the Superman Batman story, World's Finest, I think is really good. Other than that, I haven't bought a lot. Well, and I've been getting the reprints of Crisis. So almost all of those are now out. I think there's 2 more to come out, and I'll have the entire run of the Crisis reprinted. So that's pretty nice. So I'm buying a lot of the reprints is what I'm buying.
Yeah.
The old stuff. The old stuff. And Marvel side, I've been following Venom. That's kind of where I'm at with the Marvel. And I am following the Spider-Man, or I'm buying. I haven't started reading it yet. The Spider-Man storyline. What is it? Superior Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
with Doc Ock taking over.
Well, you started it though. I remember you started that and you really liked it, right?
Yes, I do. It's a really good series. So the original storyline came out in like 2010, something like that. And I've been reading that on the Marvel app, but I keep getting sidetracked and putting it aside and holding off. So I got to get back into it. Well, last year, Marvel did a new version of Superior Spider-Man. So I collected all the new ones, and they're just sitting there waiting for me to read.
Oh,
because I don't want to read the new story until I've finished the original story.
Sounds like a special episode of Two Geeks coming soon.
Oh, I would love to get into that. I think the Doc Ock Superior Spider-Man is amazing.
It's much more superior than in the past.
Well, I wouldn't say his Spider-Man is superior, but man, it makes for a really interesting storyline. I really, really liked it. I fell in love with it. I think it's great.
Right on.
Now my comic book dealer, she would say that no, you don't, because you haven't finished it yet. But So there you go. Maybe I turn you on to some new, well, not necessarily new, but turn you on to some Marvel and DC storylines that are still good.
Right. There are some still out there.
Other than that, I totally get you. Nobody for anybody. I completely get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how come I turned to the Rippaverse.
Yeah.
And looking forward to my Bloodworth issue. I can't wait to get it. Oh, I'm so excited. All right,
everybody. It's all good. Thanks everybody for joining us here today on Two Geeks and a Microphone. Big shout out to Zig. Also big shout out for anybody, and also big shout out for Sam Rogers for kind of popping in the episode. It was great having you with us. And everybody else joining us. Hey, we go live. He's going to tell you when we go live, but when we do, hey, feel free to pop in a note and say, hey, we make sure we say hey to everybody as everybody comes in. And we have enjoyed kind of how things have gone. We're at 4 years now, and just how people have popped in and the connections and stuff we've made. And so we've kind of enjoyed adding like the comments and interacting with folks. So if you can join us when we go live on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time and all that, I'm Mountain Standard Time. So I'm an hour earlier kind of a thing. So it's great having you with us. Zig, whoop, whoop. Right on, man. Also check out Nerdery Murdery. They are, you want to talk about guys who put us to shame on their research. they know their stuff.
Yeah, all this death in the family stuff, this is all right off the top of my head. So.
See,
like, wow, what can I remember from 35 years ago?
Right? Yeah. Zig, love you guys. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been 4 years, man.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of 4 years, so in 2 weeks we are going to do our fifth for the fifth annual Star Wars Podcast Day. We're going to do our fifth episode of that. I believe Stephen, you threw out this idea a couple weeks ago. Our top 5 favorite Star Wars characters, and I still are we doing the entire saga? Meaning,
no, I think it's just the whole thing, because I think you've got great insight on the books that I think people may enjoy to hear. So I think it's the whole kit and caboodle, whatever, all spare and love in Star Wars.
So we're gonna really geek out on all kinds of Star Wars stuff. Who knows what directions we're gonna go in that? So check us out.
We don't even know yet. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great.
Brenda was trying to guess what my list would be yesterday.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny. She threw out some that I'm like, yeah, it's not going to be in the list.
Yeah. Top 5 Star Wars characters. And just to give a hint, last night I rewatched my favorite part of the show Obi-Wan, where it was the fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader.
Nice.
I love that fight. It's not my favorite, but it's probably my second or third favorite. My first favorite is the Mustafar fight between the two of them.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought we were talking characters. Are we talking scenes?
No.
Okay.
Those scenes are a hint to my favorite character.
All right.
I was given a.
I was like, wait a minute. I got to go in a whole new direction now, dude.
No, but some of the scenes will inform scenes are informing my decision, because I love, you guys know I love the movies and all that. So,
well, most
I don't read. Just saying, I don't read, everybody. No, I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
Dude, you should read this book. It's a Star Wars book, but man, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Right on. All right, everybody. Hey, make sure you check out our website at www.twogeeksmic.com. That's the number 2, GEEKSMIC.com. That's where we have all things Two Geeks. You can get to everything. You can get to our merch page, to our Ko-fi page, to our podcast page if you want to get there. And plus, if we've got all kinds of stuff, the merch, if you want to check it out, is www.twogeeksmicmerch.com. If you want to go there, that's the www number 2 GEEKSMICMERCH.com. If you want to support us, Check us out at ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/2geeks. We got a couple of different tiers that we do, just $1, $2, $3 tier. And just to join in, we do some special stuff. Mike has done some really neat stuff with journal entry or journals, audio journals of people from his book, The Immortality Code, which is pretty cool. And so we've got some other stuff planned as well. So we're pretty excited. Really, thank you so much just for supporting us and helping us just get some money to pay towards all the expenses it does to do the show. And then with that, Mike, do you have anything else?
Just that if you made it this far, please go make sure and like and subscribe to us on all the socials, Facebook, especially, YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up and comment on the video, because those things supposedly help the algorithm. If you're watching us on Rumble, I know today I wasn't live on Rumble, but next week we'll be back. Sorry, I forgot to set up the stream.
Happens.
But please, if you're watching us on Rumble, like and subscribe to us there. Also on Facebook, make sure you like and subscribe to us on Facebook, because I try to post funny memes or information about when we go live. Speaking of going live, we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math on the rest, because I don't like math.
Real quick, one last little bit.
Sure.
Nobody for anybody
I
says.
saw that. I was going to share that. Yeah, nobody for anybody says. I like reading old Star Wars, not new Star Wars. I'm with you there. I've picked and choose on new Star Wars. If it's Timothy Zahn, I pick it up. I definitely like that. Actually, John Jackson Miller has a new book out, a new Star Wars book out that I kind of want to read, and because it's Mace Windu. It's Mace Windu centric.
Ooh.
So I kind of want to read that too. But yeah, I pick and choose on my new Star Wars. Old Star Wars. We could do an episode on favorite classic Star Wars books, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
All right.
Very
Anything
cool.
else, Steven?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. With that said, please do not, Steven, skip this episode, because we are much more better than the rest. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
may the force be with you.